Wow, very valuable indeed. And this definitely hit a personal chord with me. I mean, I teach wellness to corporate companies, and mindfulness is such a huge part of my life. So when you talk about surrendering and letting go, I wanted to ask, so when you've had all these moments of I need to let go, I need to surrender, is that when you started to see a shift in your life and a shift in your business? And is that when things started going up for you? When you started practicing these techniques and really living by your mindfulness beliefs?
Yeah, you have to let go now. And about 10, it was about no, it's now 12 years ago.
Hmm.
I ended up going to India to an
Hmm.
ashram, and I went there to learn how to meditate. But what I learned about there is that your inner voice, which I always thought was like it's hard. I think this is an important thing, at least for me, is that your inner voice. I remember this. I'll go back to when I went to the ashram, it's funny when I arrive at the ashram, I go to the ashram. It's in Pondicherry.
Hmm.
Sri Aurobindo is this ashram. He's been dead for many years. Here, him and this other woman who ran it. But you go to the info. There's one guy there, and I go, look, I'm here to learn how to meditate. And the guy's like, we can't teach you how to meditate, but here's a pamphlet. Don't talk to anybody. You got to take the journey on your own. And what I learned when I was there was that the purpose and the voice inside, and there was in this little pamphlet was a story, this Hindu story about that at one time we were all gods.
Hmm.
And, but there was a set of us that weren't too good and they were banished down to earth. And the gods were saying, well, we got to hide the God power in these humans. And so one God says to the other, well, where should we hide it? And the other one says, we'll hide it in the hardest place for them to find. And the other one says, well, where's that? And he says, from within.
Hmm.
So if you think about that concept, inside of us is everything we need to know about ourselves, our journey, and our future. And that gut, that voice we hear, and that's what meditation does, it clears out the other voices, the voices from your family, the voices from society. And if you can tap into that voice, and what's kept me calm now when I hit the bottom is I tap into the voice and I hear the voice tell me, it's okay. It's okay. And I believe in that voice. I let go to that voice and think, it's telling me it's okay. Or sometimes it would tell me, go in this direction or tell me something. So when I got that stress, I would just calm myself and meditate, just get rid of the active noise, the
Hmm.
active conversations, and get deep inside and hear what inside of me is telling me I should do. And that's kept me pretty happy and calm through
Hmm.
hard times. So, it's a blessing.
Is this, do you talk about, is this something that's part of now your company culture?
We haven't made it like, okay, everyone's got to meditate and we do, but obviously
Hmm.
mindfulness is I say in vogue. It's so much more in everyone's mind because I think people are just finding it, um, you know, finding it a way to deal with the stresses that they're dealing with. And the stresses have gotten much worse over
Yeah.
time because we get a lot more information now instantly and we're bombarded with all the rights and wrongs of our lives and all the things we do or don't have either. We're constantly in a state of want. We see in social media, everyone's having a fabulous time,
Yeah.
but it's like, why can't I be doing something fabulous? But I think ultimately mindfulness, and if you can tap into your inner voice as an entrepreneur, it'll set you straight. And when I was younger, unfortunately, and this is part of when you're younger, if I go back to the question about what would I do differently,
Mhm.
especially when I went public, there was a lot of active voices. And I sometimes got overwhelmed by them.
Yeah.
And you start to doubt yourself and you doubt your own internal voice telling you should do this. And like I said, somewhere I just learned, maybe it's getting older, maybe it's the work I did in India and I continue to do. Somewhere I realized you got to just follow what's inside. And there's always people telling you you're wrong. Today, my stock's at an all-time high and I look like a hero. Go back 7 years ago when the stock's at an all-time low and people are thinking I made terrible mistakes about building a new platform and going after conversational commerce. And why was I doing that? I don't live my life on whether the stock price is up or down, or this. I got to live by what I believe I was put on earth to do. And as long as I can do that, and that's for all of you as entrepreneurs, you have to just do what you have been put on earth to do. The worst thing you can do, and Frank Morio, if you look him up, he's got a book out there, the guy I worked with. The opening chapter starts with a woman who's dying, and she's like 50-something years old. Her name's Connie. And he opens the book with, he also helps people who are at the end of their life. So he also is a therapist for people like that. And she came to him and she said, she had so many regrets. She never got married because her mother didn't like the man she loved. She still lived with her mother. And here she is, she's about to die. And for a couple of months, Frank took her through a process to at least own her death. And when she died, she left a letter for him and said, "These were the happiest days of my life." And he writes that if you get to the end of your life and the happiest day of your life is controlling your death, you didn't do it right. You don't want to get to the end of your life without knowing you did everything you're supposed to do on earth. And that would give you happiness. So I think you got to live like that as an entrepreneur, as a human, you know.
And we're hitting the point, right? So I didn't realize that was going to get absolutely amazing towards the end. So Rob, thank you. Every minute of this interview was so valuable and so informational. And I'm so glad we got a little deeper and we got to know the person behind the company. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're a busy guy, and I really, truly, genuinely appreciate you being with us and showering us with the knowledge and wisdom.
Thank you for having me.